What's good, Mad Gang? Day 7 of the bootcamp, I believe, and man, we're just getting started right here. So in today's video, I'm going to show you one of the main reasons why I get sniper entries, or well, sniper entries. I don't really know these days what's a sniper entry or what's not a sniper entry, but I'm going to show you how I really get probably one of the best entries that I possibly can, and that's what I've been known for, apart from my discipline. And my consistency is probably my sniper entries. Now in today's video, remember everything acts as a pillar, okay? Everything in your trading that I speak about acts as a pillar. So if I spoke about it in the previous days, it's your pillar set in your trading. It's not that it's going to fall away. Exactly with what I'm talking about today. It's not the be-all and end-all, okay? There's a lot of different things that you need to look at. And I know I say this a lot. It's just that it's so important for you to understand this. So if I'm going to show you something today, don't think it's your entry method. You need to look at a bunch of different things in order for it to compile together and take an entry. And I also don't want to misconstrue the conception that trading is simple, because it is. Now this is for if you're a beginner trader. You cannot just take this and jump into the market and think you're going to be trading instantly. But if you're a trader with a little bit of experience, then yes, most definitely you can use this in your favor. So let's hop onto the charts, and I want to look at another pair just for today, just for the heck of it. I want to look at NASDAQ. No specific reason, it's just what I chose in NASDAQ. And today we're going to talk about the first hour, the second hour, and then the third hour. Now I already know my indicator that I use is called Sonolab Sessions. Just want to run through the settings again so that you can screenshot it, maybe have a look. Just if you want to use the same settings that I have, then it's style. These are my colors. That's not really so important. But most importantly, I need to get the timing windows right. So the timing that I'm on is UTC +2, but I'm gonna try my very best to convert it to exchange time, so that we're all on the same page. So the exchange time, let's just get that squared off right away. Exchange time, let me just mark out the horizontal levels. Okay, so for exchange time for NY session and London session is going to be 12 o'clock, and then 8 a.m., 7 a.m. for London, and 3 a.m. for London. Then, of course, Asia session is going to be 2 a.m. and 8 p.m. of the previous day. So keep that in mind, just so they're all aligned. Now I want to talk about the highs and the lows, because they're going to play a pivotal part in hitting the lows or hitting the highs inside of the first hour. So in today's video, I want to focus on the first hour. The first hour is important, the second hour is important, and the third hour is important. They all play part in context. Now, please don't overthink this. It's very, very easy. I'm just going to explain it in a lot more detail so you guys understand where I'm coming from. Okay, let's get into the charts. So the first hour is, of course, going to be 8 a.m. up until 9 a.m. Now remember, when daylight savings comes, the sessions is still going to be the same, but the hours is going to differ. So then it's not going to be the first hour anymore, it's going to be the second hour. But don't get confused too much. It's not that important. When daylight savings come, I'll just update you guys. But for now, we want to focus on the first hour. So the first hour, I want to look at, let's focus on Asia session for now. So Asia session, we got the highs formed and the low has been formed. Okay, so the key rule here is, if the high and the low has not been formed in Asia session, or in any session, but in Asia session right now, there's something going on. You need to question that something is going on. There's either a buyer's trap upstairs or seller's trap downstairs. There's something is going on. Something is not right. We call this out of balance. The market is out of balance, okay? Something is up and something needs to happen so the market can continue. As you can see, we only created the low in the very last hour of Asia session. We created a high right over here, but it's not created in the first hour, so something is up. On London session, we can see we created a low. That's very easy, that's very simple. But that low did not hit or trigger the low of Asia session. Nothing too complicated, it just means that there wasn't a trade. What happened then? We broke above the high. The high of Asia session wasn't really a high, that's just where the box was drawn. For me, my high of Asia session would have been here. Okay, very important to understand. So let's just remove this. We broke above and we came back down. Why did we not go short at that break? Can anybody tell me? And it's very, very easy. It's because, folks, we had one day of rise, another day of rise, and then another day of rise. It's a clear uptrend. So this is going to stop you from going against the trend. Yes, I know it looks amazing. I mean, stop hunt above the Asia session highs, came back down. You wanted to sell at this engulfing candle. Don't lie. I know some of you wanted to sell right there because it looks sexy as hell, man. But if you stick with overall bias, you'll be well on your way to miss out on a lot of losses, which is a good thing. Carrying on, we can see that we had an overnight high session created, but that's not what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is the gap between NY session and London session. We created a high between NY session and London session. Okay, let's stop right here. You're now probably going to ask me, hey MC, I'm confused. There's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows, there's a lot of sessions. I have to focus on weekly high, I need to focus on daily high, daily low. And I understand, it was complicated for me in the beginning as well. But the only thing that I can say that has helped me is they all need to form part of context. Okay, so what I want you to focus on is the first high or low of the session that you are trading. That's it. Keep it simple. Because if you're going to go around on your chart drawing the highs and lows of every single session, of course you're going to confuse yourself. Just gain a little bit of experience and understand everything needs to come in context. So focus on the high and the low of the session you want to trade. If you're on the other side of the world, you're probably going to trade Asia session, London session. If you're in America, you're probably going to trade NY session. I don't know. I cannot speak for all of you. For me, I trade London session and NY session. So I'm going to focus on the highs and the lows of those sessions. But the highs and the lows of Asia session is going to give me context for the day. And if I don't want to look at that, I just look at the previous day. Are we in a green setup day, are we in a red setup day, or a false break reversal? That's going to dictate my daily bias. So, first thing is you get your daily bias. You look at the green setup day, red setup day, false break reversal. Then you zoom in on the 15-minute time frame, or 30-minute if you want. I like 15-minute. And then you have a look whether it corresponds with your bias. So here we can carry on. We can see now that we created a high before NY session. But this high is a little bit contradicting because it was after London session and we're looking for longs here. But here's the catch, folks. In NY session, we had a spike to the upside. And now this is in the second hour. This is a video for tomorrow, but the second hour you usually call death hour. And man, we really need to get another name for that because that sounds sick. But the second hour is important because that's usually when reversals happens. So you could have caught a short right here because based on that fact alone, you know it's counter trend because we're in a green setup day. And you also know it's in death hour. Let's just call it reversal hour, man. Death hour sounds sick, but it's in reversal hour. So you know now you can take a counter trend. Okay, MC, to where do I take the counter trend trade? Bro, super easy. Exhaustion zone from the previous day NY session. Just look at this, and if you're uncomfortable with the exhaustion zone on the 15-minute, just check on the 30-minute if it makes sense. And there we go, Bob's your uncle. Short, down low, counter trend, green setup day, counter trend. We already spiked the high, engulfing candle. If you want to critique this trade even more, let me just go to the 5-minute. You want to see on the 5-minute that we really just spiked it up and we broke down low with engulfing candle and pushed down low. Now, one thing I learned from Q, especially on indices, is you always want to track that pressure. This is a small counter trend line, but if you really just want to focus on that pressure, you can draw something like this. Sneakity snack, the market came back down. Easy, simple, counter trend trade, but let's stick with the overall bias and let's look at another example. You'll see here, this is a perfect scenario. First hour NY session, we hit that low. We got the low of NY session. That was formed. Okay? This is a textbook setup. The market came back up. What happened in reversal hour? Reversal hour, we came back down again. Can you see this is exactly the same scenario as these two, just in different variations? We created the low, pushed back up. We created the high, pushed back down. Okay, and then we pushed back up again. It's exactly the same. We pushed back up, created the high in reversal hour, came back down, hit that low of the initial low in NY session, and then on the third hour we reversed back to the top side. Very clean, very simple. Now this is the pattern for NY session. On London session there's another pattern. On Asia session there's another pattern. But we're going to focus on NY session right now, going hand in hand with what Asia session is telling us. So NY session, you could have, a buy could have been caught here, or a buy could have been caught at this pushback up here. Why is that, MC? Because one of the main reasons is we simply just broke above Asia session. Pause the video right here and tell me what you see. Let me give it to you, man. We got the open, we got the close, got the open, got the close. What does this mean? This is a bearish. This is bearish. What happens then? Bullish. Green setup day, family. We got a green setup day. Asia session high, Asia session low. Broke above Asia session high during London session. We created the low in NY session. You could have taken buys right over here, or you could have waited for the reversal hour to come back down. I would not have taken sells right there because there's no context looking left. Of course, you can look at the high of the previous week, perhaps, if you really want to do that. Maybe taking shorts right there. Just pause right here. Remember, there's other confluences that you need to look for. It's not just this. Just please remember that. Please, I beg you. There's other confirmations. It's not just like you're drawing highs and lows like a crazy buffoon on the charts. There's context. There's always got to be context. So then the third hour, you got a bullish engulfing, took the trade to the high, and I will explain in the next videos where you would have gotten out, because the exit is 10 times more important than the entry. Hands down, no doubt, no debate here. The exit is 10 times more important than the entry. Let's have a look at one more scenario so we can really just dissect this. Okay? Bearish day, bullish day. Let's play this one out. Okay, so we have bearish day, bearish. I think we already spoke about this, so let me look at another example. Okay, here we go. Once again, folks, we have bullish days because we can see open, close, open, close. So this was bearish. Did we follow through? No, because we did not break a high or a low. Following day, we got an inside day and then a bullish day once again. So this might seem a little bit confusing with regards to the daily cycle, but it was just an overall, this did not break a low. The inside day, so this is just this continuation of the green setup day, but I want to focus on the NY session. NY session, look here, folks. We got the high, Asia session. We got the low, NY session. What happened then? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Very simple. The London session did not impulsively break through the Asia session high. What happened then? We created the low first hour of NY session. Then in the second hour, we hit that low right here. We hit that low after we created a high. Remember, a high and a low cannot be created in NY session. It should be either a high or either a low. So you would have known if that low was created first, it's not going to be the high. That high is going to be manipulation. So this high was once again manipulation. Came back down, hit this with a bullish engulfing variation. No wick to a downside, so that is a key thing to remember. But the market then spiked back up and then gave us a nice bullish run. Very clean, very simple. Let's have a look at a selling position so you can see what I'm looking at right here. Now I want to talk about something very critical, which is I want to touch base on the second hour because it goes hand in hand with tomorrow's video. Now, the second hour you might go and look at your charts and see, okay, but the first hour does not get tapped out. Remember what I said, if the first hour does not create a high or a low, something is up. You need to ask yourself what's happening. So then you wait for the second hour reversal. Now remember, the second hour reversal is going to play a key role with candlestick maturity. If the first hour gave you a very weak candle looking like this, what do you think the second hour is going to do? The second hour is most probably going to push up and then come push back down with a bearish candle. You take it on the flip with the third candle and you anticipate some selling pressure. with context though. It has to be a bearish trend. It cannot just be an uptrend. So that's exactly what happened here. We did not have a high or a low being created during NY session. What did happen though is we created the high in Asia session. We created the low. I would have said that the low was right here, but it got broken. We did not have a retracement. So we talk about the low, then got broken during London session. So we know the daily bias for today is some selling positions. So right now, we wanted to take some shorts right over here, but we did not trigger a high. Could have maybe said that we triggered this high right here and then pushed back down. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. That's not how I would have looked at it. I would have waited for the second hour, and then I would have looked at my candlestick maturity. So the H1 candle, look at the first hour of the NY session. The first hour created a massive engulfing, a massive rejection candle. Look at this. So then what does that mean? Let's go to a 15-minute time frame. We came back up in the first hour, then we came back down with a bearish engulfing. This was part of the second hour formation. So in the second hour formation, we can see we drew that low of the second hour. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles with inside range of the first hour. This is getting a little bit technical. You don't need to worry about that too much. So what I essentially just want to do is I want to draw this range. So we got accumulation, manipulation, distribution once again inside of a session. That's very important. And I only do this when we have not found a high or a low formed. That's when I only do this. That's when I really just drop down to lower time frames and I critique what I'm currently seeing. So the minute we saw this bearish engulfing, I know Asia session broke below. I know it's in context. I know we consolidated, so we're pushing back down with continuation of the rejection candle the first hour in my session. Bearish engulfing variation, push back down up until perhaps an exhaustion area, because we cannot push yesterday's NY session low because that was a manipulation session and we already broke past that. I'm referring to this session right here. So then I would look probably at another NY session, something like this. Okay? And that's where you most probably put your take profit. But we're going to get into the exits. But for today, I don't want to jump the gun too much. I need you guys to go and do homework. Draw the highs and the lows of the Asia session. Draw the highs and the lows of NY session. See how they go hand in hand. And tell me what's your key takeaway from this video. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's day.